Hey there everybody, it's Mark Crilly here to give you a guided tour of my new How to Draw Manga book, Mastering Manga. It's coming out March 8th, and of course I can't show you every single page of the book, but I'm going to show you some of my favorites and give you a little taste of my approach to doing a How to Draw book. Let's not waste any more time, let's just go ahead and get into it. My first big focus on this book was on authenticity. We've all seen these How to Draw Manga books by Americans where the illustrations just don't look like real manga. I focused really obsessively on getting the illustrations to have that real, authentic manga look. One problem I have with a lot of How to Draw Manga books is they act as if there's just one way of drawing a manga face, and that kind of drives me crazy. There's so many different styles. So you can see on this page I compare 4 different ways of drawing a manga face, and throughout the book I make an effort to include different drawing styles. Now, sometimes you'll see a step-by-step lesson in a book that begins with something like this and then makes these incredible leaps from one to the next, which is very frustrating for the beginning student. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't have that kind of thing in my book. And in fact, even just drawing something like this for an absolute beginner can be quite challenging. So my approach was to begin always with a simple circle and then gradually build towards something that gets us the shape of the head where we can place the eyes. And of course there is always going to be a bit of a leap when you move into drawing the hair. That's probably the most challenging part of any one of my exercises. But I tried to keep the final illustration simple enough that it would be within the grasp of a beginning student while also producing an authentic looking final result. Now, the book is packed with step-by-step lessons, but it also has a lot of reference material, maybe my favorite part of the book. And here's an example, 20 male hairstyles. So if you're ever looking for inspiration on a hairstyle for your male characters, you could just turn to this page and it's going to give you a lot of different options. Here's another nice reference spread about 12 different common manga facial expressions with notes explaining, what to pay attention to as you try to replicate such expressions or produce such emotions on the faces of your characters. I know that drawing body proportions can be quite a challenge for beginning artists, so I made sure to include a step-by-step lesson for a variety of body types, and even some that you don't often see in How to Draw Manga, such as older characters, overweight characters, and children, and different things like that. And as always, I try to acknowledge that there are different styles, different approaches. This more like a realistic body proportion, this exaggeratedly tall, this one much shorter. And so throughout the book, you'll always see me trying to acknowledge the variety of manga approaches that are out there. Here's one of these reference pages on older characters. I do have step-by-step lessons as well, but this is a nice one for just showing where the wrinkles occur, how to make a character look just a little bit older without, looking like they're ready for the retirement home. And throughout the book, always trying to come up with these extra things that I don't see covered so much in other How to Draw books. Here's a page comparing the body proportions of babies, 1-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and there's quite a lot of stuff in the book that goes beyond manga to just general drawing stuff that I think could be useful for almost anyone who's trying to improve their drawing ability. No How to Draw a manga book would be complete without chibi characters, of course. We've got a step-by-step on drawing chibi, and then I also have a page here that shows 20 different chibi emotions. I think a pretty good reference, all in 2 pages, basically, place to go when you want to know how to draw a certain emotion on your chibi character. Here's one of my favorite parts of the book, 50 ways to draw hands. And I'm not kidding, I myself will be using this. I know for a fact. Next time I'm having trouble drawing a hand, I'll be pulling this book down and using these 2 pages as good reference for drawing the human hand in almost every different pose you can come up with. I have a lot of step-by-steps on particular things like drawing a character walking, drawing characters fighting, and drawing characters kissing, and this is one of the reference pages that shows a variety of, like, just before the kiss, the peck on the cheek, a hug like that. Again, useful reference for when you're having trouble drawing such things in your own stories. Here's a nice spread, the first of 2 different spreads that cover 30 different classic manga poses. Again, this is something that you can use as reference. You can sort of change an arm, change a leg, change a hairstyle, and before you know it, you'll have a pose that you can use yourself. Clothing wrinkles, always a challenge. I made sure to have at least 4 pages that deal with that, showing where the wrinkles occur in different types of fabric. Again, you know, this is something that goes beyond manga to almost general drawing advice, and I may myself be pulling down the book to remind myself of where the wrinkles go by looking at some of these drawings. There's a quite thorough section on perspective drawing. I have a general introduction here for 1, 2, and 3-point perspectives. And here's a kind of a fun thing that I did. I did a reference page for each one of the different styles of perspective. So this is 1 point, and I want to kind of zoom in here for a second on this illustration of the chair, because I thought what better way to illustrate the difference between these 3 different perspective systems than to show the exact same object drawn in the 3 different styles. So here's the 1-point perspective, here's the 2-point perspective, and here's the 3-point perspective. And of course there are step-by-step lessons going with each one of those sections, hopefully to give you a more in-depth guide on perspective than most of these books tend to offer. And finally, one of my favorite parts of the book is at the very end I go into the nuts and bolts of creating manga stories. This section deals with different types of layouts. You hear this one has a lot of panels, this one has no panels, and this one sort of combines the 2. And there's a whole section that really deals with that. Word balloon placement, sound effects, almost anything that you can think of that you may need to finally bring all this stuff together in making a manga story of your own. All right, well, there you have it, my little guided tour of Mastering Manga, coming out March 8th. You know, that was just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other things in this book that I was not able to include in the video. For starters, 30 different step-by-step lessons, so you really only saw a brief little clip of that aspect of the book. But I really do want to thank you all for having supported me. I do believe it's because of you, because of my YouTube audience, that I was invited to create this book. So pat yourselves on the back, people, and let me tip my hat to you. You have brought me to where I am right now today, and I do hope you will check this book out. Like I said, March 8th, I think it may be out even earlier in electronic forms. I'm going to put a thorough set of links in the info box beneath this video where you can pre-order. And let's just wind it down with that, my friends. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another one real soon.